Look closely at the craftsmanship of this vintage doll. Its hand-painted features and intricate clothing are a testament to the artisan's skills from the 1880s. The guest's grandmother received the doll from her great-aunt in 1935, and the guest received the doll as a birthday present when she turned 9. This particular model of doll was made by the Jumou Company between 1880 to 1885. It is not marked, therefore it is a portrait Jumou.
Sometimes they were marked with the company's name, sometimes they weren't.
Accompanying the doll is a collection of original dresses, but the doll's wig had been replaced. This whimsical doll, together with its accessories, are highly desirable, and they are estimated to be worth.
Be able to sell it for $18,000 to $20,000.
Wow. Oh, well, thank you.
And I just hope your little daughter will be loving it as much as you did.
She does, and she's looking forward to receiving it. Thank you very much.
This guest brings an exquisite piece of cover art to the show. She brought it after being fascinated by the image in a magazine. It was purchased for $500. This cover art was used in the 1940 issue of Country Gentleman magazine. The painting was done by artist Gustav Krollmann. Krollmann was an Austrian artist, born and trained in Vienna before moving to the US. He began teaching at the Minneapolis Art Institute in 1931. He was primarily known for his work as an illustrator for the Northern Pacific Railroad. This is an original oil painting, and it is in relatively good condition. However, there are some condition issues.
Scrape and a puncture, and then a few cleaning tests.
These do not significantly affect its value. In this state, it is valued at about
auction right now in 2022, we think it's worth on the order of $3,000 to $5,000.
Nice, nice.
San Francisco map makes its way to the show. Exploring this old map is like seeing a time when hills and fog were greater obstacles than traffic jams. This map was purchased alongside an Old West poster at a garage sale for $30. It is an 1882 map of San Francisco made by H.W. Faust. Faust made a series map of San Francisco. The maps were made as tourist guides to help tourists navigate the city. It gives a very detailed description of the city at that time.
It's the streetcars, which were, of course, around, and they're the dotted lines along here. It is a snapshot of the city.
These maps are rare today, as many have been damaged over the years. It is in very poor condition, but still quite valuable. It is valued at about...
You would expect to see maybe $350 or $400 on it, even in this kind of condition.
No kidding.
Hold this stunning piece of silverware, a true example of beauty and fine craftsmanship. This silver cup was bought over 50 years ago by this guest as a gift for her husband at an antique shop in Georgetown, Washington, D.C. It was purchased for $50. It is a silver cup by Li Qing in Guangdong, China. This cup dates to the Qing dynasty, dating around 1870. This is a very interesting and unusual form of Chinese silverware.
It's very atypical of a form the Chinese would have been making for export to England or America, and perhaps the form could have indicated that this was made for export to either the Turkish market or the Russian market.
It has a very detailed and interesting interior and exterior scene, with the interior showing preparations for a feast, while the exterior shows the guest on the way to the feast. It is decorated with repousse, a specific technique.
You can see if I tilt this and you look inside that the decoration is done by punching the metal out.
It is marked at the bottom with Li Qing's initials. This beautiful piece of silverware is valued at about...
If this were in a retail silver shop today, I would expect them to have a price of $2,500 on it.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm so surprised. My goodness. Wonderful.
A guest received a book titled The History of Magic as a Christmas gift from Jim Morrison, the lead singer of The Doors, during their college years. The book, compiled by Kurt Seligman, contains illustrations of old illuminated manuscript art, engravings, and woodcuts, making the subject matter mysterious and interesting. Despite being worn from use, the book is valued at around $100. However, its connection to Jim Morrison significantly increases its value. Jim Morrison, known for his interest in the occult, inscribed the book as a gift in 1963 while attending Florida State University, where the guest also studied.
I guess that he had a few run-ins. He was originally in a video that was promoting the college.
Yeah,
and then,
I remember that.
Really?
That's just a little part of a film that's promoting.
Our guest recalls Morrison as intellectually deep and well-read for his age, with an interest in the idea that criminals might be saints and saints might be criminals.
He was so attractive to the public. There's a following after his death. He died young. You know, he has all the components of value. You know, beauty, early death, intelligent, wild. That's Jim Morrison to a T.
Morrison's early death and enigmatic persona contribute to the book's estimated auction value of...
I would say that the value on it is $8,000 to $10,000 at auction. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm surprised at that.
When we're done here, you want to have a beer?
Necklaces come in many forms and styles, but this necklace is a remarkable example of American Art Nouveau jewelry. A guest brought in an American Art Nouveau necklace that had been passed down from her grandfather, who owned a jewelry store in Fort Worth from the late 1800s into the 1940s. The store's location is now a convention center. The guest's mother received the necklace from her grandfather, and it was eventually passed down to the guest. The necklace, dating from around 1910, features yellow gold, freshwater pearls, a diamond, and diamond accents. Its standout feature is the plique azure enamel work, a technique that allows light to shine through the enamel around the profile of a lady. Despite the lack of a signature, this piece is in wonderful condition. The guest revealed that she rarely wore it, keeping it mostly in a box. The appraiser valued the necklace for auction as...
Today, at auction, I would expect it to bring somewhere between $4,000 and $6,000.
Wow, that's a lot for a necklace that sits in a box. I think I'll start wearing it.
I think you should.
Yeah.
Guest's father brought this gun at a gun show in Ohio around 1960.
I've just always admired it, and when he passed away, this is the gun that I got out of his collection, and I just love it, but I'd love to know more about it.
The tag says it was bought for $350. This pistol is from North Africa and dates to the second half of the 18th century.
Pistols can be mounted with horn, ivory, other precious metals, stones, and that's actually what defines this pistol as North African, is the fact that they use the red coral.
Oh, okay.
Decoration includes red corals in silver inlay, defining it as North African with a bit of gold work. Arabic script on the barrel is likely the maker's name or the date. Restorations and polishing have been done, but it's in nice condition. Some pieces were replaced during restorations. Restorations don't detract much, but cleaning the silver does. Its estimated value today is
probably about $5,000 to $7,000 in today's.
The present value of this pistol is an astonishing $8,000 to $12,000. Vase so rare, with colors that flare, a treasure beyond comparison. Acquired from a family 30 years ago and kept safely in a curio cabinet. This item is Tiffany Cypriot glass, known for its rough, bumpy surface that looks like old Roman glass. This vase is crafted from Cypriot glass, a type renowned for its unique, irregular, pitted and textured surface. The distinct appearance of Cypriot glass sets it apart from other glass types. Its unique look makes it particularly notable and visually striking. Jimmy Stewart's Tiffany's described rolling hot glass on a table. The table is covered with crushed glass to aid in shaping and texture creation. Afterward, they reheat the glass and shape it into its final form. This 1920s vase is rare in red with a clear base, providing stability and clarity for the signature. While examining the condition of the item, the appraiser said,
"In today's market, something like this would be $25,000 in a retail store."
Oh, maybe I better insure it.
That's probably an excellent idea.
Dolls are often cherished playthings or collectibles, but these wooden dolls transcend typical expectations. The guest brought in two very old wooden dolls, seeking information on their origins and value. She found them in Michigan and acquired them from a woman who inherited them, but knew little about their history. The appraiser focused on the larger doll, identifying it as an early 1700s English piece, likely owned by wealthy children or royalty. This doll is notable for its wood and paint construction, showing signs of age like crazing and flaking paint. It features black, pupilless eyes, dotted eyebrows, and an all-wood body with cloth upper arms. The doll's silk clothing exhibits melting from metal weighting, and it sports a human hair wig, possibly original. Such dolls are rare outside of museums. In good condition from the Queen Anne period, the doll was valued as.
In a retail setting, she probably would be valued in the range of $15,000 to $20,000.
The guest revealed what he'd paid for both dolls.
Of $15,000 to $20,000.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my. For the two dolls, I paid $100.
So you had quite a bargain.
I didn't even want that one. I wanted this one.
Vases are not just decorative items, they can be hidden treasures. The guest shared that she got a vase from her mother when she built her home. It had been on her grandmother's front porch for many years. After that, it was on her own porch for 18 years, holding umbrellas and canes. An antique dealer friend saw it, recognized it as a Teco vase, and suggested bringing it inside because it might be valuable. The appraiser confirmed the vase is authentic Teco pottery. It was made near Chicago and possibly sold in Baltimore. The vase had unique hand-applied strap handles and is notably large with the typical green color. Despite some chips at the base, the appraiser said these flaws are less important in larger Teco pieces. While examining the condition of the item, the appraiser said,
Like this would sell between $15,000 and $20,000.
Oh my goodness. It stays in the house.
It's going to stay in the house?
It's going to stay in the house.
I think that's an excellent idea.
Oh my goodness. How much?
Between $15,000 and $20,000
15
at
and
auction.
20.
After Eudora Welty, her aunt, died, she and her sister found a picture and took it home. The Purple Hat, a 1941 illustration by George Grosz, exemplifies his American period after fleeing Nazi Germany. He was a well-known caricaturist, biting satirist, and politically involved dadaist. In The Purple Hat, Grosz sharply critiques contemporary society's decadence and moral decay. The illustration features a central figure in a striking purple hat, surrounded by scenes of contemporary social and political issues. He used pen and ink for the Purple Hat, capturing exaggerated caricatures and detailed scenes. Grosz's material enhanced his technical skill and sharpened his satirical commentary on society and politics. With a keen eye for detail and historical significance, the appraiser valued the item.
I'm at an auction estimate of around about $10,000 to $15,000.
It was under my bed?
Yes, under your bed, indeed.
It will not go back under the
Good.
bed.
It deserves to be on a wall.
Goodness.
He's a wonderful artist.
Guest brought two family rings with a unique history and sentimental value. A traditional half-hoop design featuring sky blue turquoise stones. The first ring is adorned with blue stones with tiny diamonds in between, arranged in a paired vertical formation. Made of 18-karat gold, this ring dates back to around 1900. Rescued from the sink, the second ring turns out to be a colorless, large, brilliant cut diamond, approximately 4.3 carats.
Well, my father brought the bigger one quite a few years ago for her.
This one here?
Many years ago, yes.
Okay. This well-made post-war ring from the 1950s has a few internal flaws, probably due to fall and a slight J-color tint. Despite not being entirely colorless, the diamond's well-proportioned cut gives it a striking sparkle. For both of these amazing rings, the value estimated at auction is
4.3 carats? £20,000.
Wow.
Woman presented a historic drum, which had come down through her father's family. This drum bears a date of November 1st, 1823, probably commemorating the founding of the Regiment of the Malaysia Unit, to which the guest's grandfather's brother belonged. A label inside the drum identifies its maker, but it would not be visible if the drum were covered. However, a vent hole on the side allows one to peep through and read the label, underscoring the drum's significance.
The quality of this federal-style eagle, it's beautifully painted in very vivid colors.
This incredible drum is adorned with a beautifully painted federal-style eagle in vivid colors, marking it a piece of folk art. Dating back to the 1840s, this early Malaysia drum's quality and craftsmanship stand out remarkably. At auction, this unique piece is estimated to be worth between
At auction, I feel that this drum is probably worth between $7,000 and $8,000.
Oh, how nice.
A Dickin Medal, a rare and historically significant award, has captured attention due to its association with an extraordinary and brave pigeon named Cologne. This medal, typically bestowed upon animals for exceptional wartime service, symbolifies the remarkable achievement of animals during times of conflict.
Extraordinary things in wartime, as they always have done, and this is the only way we can acknowledge that.
Cologne's story, which moved all people alike, underscores the medal's profound significance beyond its superficial value. Ongoing awarding of Dickin medals highlights the continued recognition of animals' courage. This particular medal is esteemed for its rarity, historical significance, and sentimental value. It is estimated that such a medal could command, at auction, a price of around.
Such a medal is likely to fetch around £10,000. Did you know that?
An ornate dollhouse with intricate detailing and glass windows, identified as a Gottschalk house, stands out as a masterpiece. Moritz Gottschalk was the one who made this beautiful dollhouse around 1885 to 1886.
I'm going to destroy the name. I think it was Gottschalk.
It is. It's a Gottschalk house. Well done. Moritz Gottschalk was the manufacturer of this house.
This larger-sized dollhouse originally featured a blue roof, earning it the nickname Blue Roofs. It is adorned with detailed finished work and an architectural facade typical of Gottschalk's renowned designs. This exceptional piece was acquired by a guest at the beginning of the year from a friend. Some restorations have been made, including painting parts of the exterior white while leaving the interior largely untouched. Its original condition would have included a paper lithograph covering the exterior, mimicking a brick facade. In its current state, the estimated auction value ranges from
I think the auction estimate that I would expect to see would be something like $6,000 to $9,000, and I think we'd expect it to fetch something between $7,000 to $10,000.
Striking ebonized sideboard embodies the 1970s aesthetic movement with ornate Orientalist-inspired design elements.
I bought it in 1999. She had bought it many years before that from an importer.
This piece is adorned with naturalistic motifs such as flowers and geometric lines, and showcases contrasting veneers, including bird's eye maple on the door panels. Crafted to display small works of art, the sideboard originally came from England. In 1999, the sideboard was acquired by the guest after years of persuasion, buying it from an artist friend. That artist friend had used the sideboard to complement her sculptures, highlighting its decorative appeal. Despite a recent decline in market interest, the sideboard remains a valuable item. Its insurance value today is estimated at a minimum of
I think today an insurance value on this would be at least $3,000.
A visually stunning poster from 1939, designed by Leslie Reagan, was acquired by a visual manager in a Florida department store. Reagan, an Iowa-born artist who also studied in Chicago, gained fame during World War II, designing war posters and working primarily for the New York Central Railroad. This poster advertises travel through America to visit two World's Fairs held in San Francisco and New York in 1939. It celebrates the visual splendor of the Americas by highlighting railroads in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. It also bears a museum stamp from a German museum, adding to its historical value. Unlike other copies, this poster features German text, showcasing its global distribution and multilingual overprinting.
This just epitomizes the fantastic visual splendor of the Americas, human, natural, and structural.
At auction, this piece is estimated to be worth between
At auction, I would estimate this piece between $7,000 and $10,000.
Wow. That's fantastic.
guest presented 2 oil paintings, believed to be by Arthur Wardle. The first painting was bought from the owner of the Marlboro Lamp Company for $27.50. The second painting was bought online 2 years ago for $800. The appraiser provided background details about Arthur Wardle.
Arthur Wardle was born in 1864, lived till 1949, and is today considered really one of the preeminent painters.
Who was one of the preeminent painters of dogs. Examining the 2 paintings, the appraiser observed significant differences in quality. The first painting, of terriers, signed Arthur Wardle, showcased superior brushwork and expressive details. In contrast, the second painting, although signed A. Wardle and dated, displayed heavy-handed features. It lacked the delicate touch characteristic of Wardle's work. Therefore, the appraiser concluded that the second one was not by Wardle. Given the desirability, the suggested value was.
At auction, this Wardle of the 2 terriers would be valued at $15,000 to $20,000.
These are cherished for their historical value and intricate craftsmanship, but this pottery is exceptional for its unique origin and remarkable details. The guests shared that the pottery was passed down from her great-grandmother's sister, who married George Orr. The appraiser identified the pieces as being created by George Orr, noting the family connection. The appraiser described the collection: a rabbit ear puzzle mug, an etched puzzle mug, a house-shaped inkwell, and a pitcher. He explained that the puzzle mugs require a specific technique to drink from without spilling. The pitcher, although utilitarian, is unusual for Orr's typical decorative style. The inkwell, designed like a house, reflects the architecture of Orr's community and features his signature marks. Created between 1895 and 1900, the appraiser valued the mugs as.
But since those are relatively common, actually these days they only sell for normally around $500 to $750 a piece.
The appraiser also valued the pitcher and inkwell at that time to be
more, but it would still probably be worth between $1,250 and $1,750.
Totaling $4,750 to $6,750, the appraiser noted that the family's provenance could increase their auction value. The appraiser estimated the entire collection's worth to be.
And we estimate all that pottery is now worth somewhere between $50 and $100 million.
Wow. It's a lot of money.
As a little girl, if you had known that.
Yeah.
Having purchased this piece from a local auction house, the guest was unsure of its authenticity and age. The guest brought it to a show to find out more about its authenticity and age. Quite authentic, the item is from the first collection of world views, published in Europe around 1575, known as Civitates Orbis Terrarium. Civitates Orbis Terrarium. Regarding the age of the item, it can be said to be almost 450 years old. Depicting Cambridge and featuring original colours from the Elizabethan era, it shows what the English wore at the time.
There is some serious bad news here, which is this is mold. And mold is bad, bad, bad.
However, the piece has significant mold damage that needs urgent treatment to prevent further deterioration. Despite the mold, it would still hold significant value at a retail shop, albeit not as much as if it were in perfect condition. Once treated, the item's value could rise significantly, potentially being valued at.
You could sell this in a retail shop for about $1,800. So a fair bit. If it were in perfect shape, it would be worth about $2,500. Once you remove that, it would probably be about a $2,000, maybe $2,100 amount.
Easily one of the most venerable watch brands in the world, the company that created this piece was founded in Geneva in 1839. Geneva, Switzerland. A Patek Philippe minute repeater pocket watch, it has been in the guest's family for generations. Manufactured in 1900, the watch comes with its original wooden box and warranty certificate. The watch's intricate mechanism and distinctive dinging sound are quite fantastic. The sound produced by the watch's repeater mechanism, originally designed to tell time in the dark by striking the hours, quarter hours, and minutes.
You told me something about when you were a child, you had it or you're playing with it?
I first saw it when I was in elementary school in my dad's dresser, and thought it was pretty cool and brought it to school to show my friends.
Also, included with the watch are the original gold Louis XV hands, found in the box, though it is currently fitted with black spade hands. This complicated and high-quality watch, valued initially for its gold content, is actually worth more due to its intricate mechanism and historical significance.
And repeaters were originally invented so that they could tell time in the dark.
Huh.
Yours is a minute repeater, which means it will tell you to the minute what time it is.
This unique Patek Philippe minute repeater watch is valued at auction at.
So your watch today could easily, in today's market, in auction, could be sold for $35,000.
Wow.
Originally handed down through generations in the guest's family, this book was given to the guest by her grandmother. The Civitas Orbis Terrarium was published in Cologne starting in 1588 and is the first comprehensive city atlas of the known world. Cologne, Germany. This work contains 6 volumes, and the guest possesses the rare first 2 volumes, which feature spectacular engravings. These volumes include detailed bird's-eye views of major cities like London, Paris, and Prague, showcasing the printing precision of that era.
Really spectacular engravings, as you can tell. They're fairly large size, and to print a book in 1588 with that precision was still something that only a group of specialized printers were able to do.
The authors, Braun and Hosenberg, created these realistic views with depictive text and illustrations of the contemporary costumes. Braun and Hosenberg. This featured view of Venice is printed from a single plate, displaying the dark, rich impression typical of high-quality prints from the time. Many such works have been broken up and sold as individual plates, making complete volumes like this exceedingly rare and valuable.
A nice view of the city of Prague, for instance, underneath Eger. You can see the Ratschin up here.
A conservative estimate for these volumes at auction would be:
conservative estimate for this book at auction would be $40,000 to $60,000.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
This charming sculpture, cherished by the guest, was originally owned by his grandmother, who gifted it to them before her passing. The guest recalls their grandmother's love for animals, evident in her collection of animals.
And had quite a number of pieces that were related to birds and dogs and things like that.
The sculpture is French, created by artist Maximilien Faure, known for his work in the animalier tradition, a style depicting animals in various naturalistic settings. Faure, born in the 1880s and active until the 1950s, represents the third generation of artists in this tradition. Created in the 1910s or 1920s, this sculpture exemplifies the continuation of the animalier tradition into the 20th century. Cast by Sus Ferrez, a prominent Parisian foundry known for casting works for the first generation of animalier sculptors, this piece is a testament to the skilled artistry of Faure. The sculpture beautifully captures the interaction between a horse and a dog.
I think it's just so charming and really wonderful. And I think you get an idea of the personality of these two figures interacting.
Mesmerizing.
The appraiser values this sculpture, larger than most of Faure's works, at a retail price of
$7,000 to $8,000 range.
Purchase this charming map at an antique shop in Hamilton, Virginia for $500, attracted by its color and historical significance to Georgetown, a place they lived near. Painted in oil on plywood, the map depicts various landmarks and streets of Georgetown, offering a glimpse into the area's history. The appraiser, with a personal connection to the area, finds the map particularly intriguing. The map highlights Roosevelt Island and the early view of Georgetown as a bustling port on the Potomac River. It also features notable sites like the Oak Hill Cemetery Gatehouse and Dumbarton Oaks House,
which is now part of Harvard University. There's a museum and a library there. The United Nations were planned there.
Despite its flaws, which adds to its folk art charm, the appraiser values this Georgetown's map at...
I would offer it at $4,000.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you.
Its exuberant depiction of Georgetown's history and landmarks make it a valuable and delightful piece of... Grandfather was Alexander Golitsyn, the art director of the Universal Studios. One of Golitsyn's colleagues and friends, John de Arinsma, gave the guest a belt buckle when he was a child. The guest later discovered that the buckle was the same as the one worn by John Wayne in several films. The belt buckle was made for the cast and crew of the movie Red River, directed by Howard Hawks. Each buckle was personalized with the recipient's initials, and the guest's buckle bears the initials JD for John Datu Arinsma. The buckle features a design based on the brand from the ranch owned by John Wayne's character.
So I did a little research, and I know that John was the art director on Red River.
Although John Wayne's personal buckle went missing after his death, this is valuable and desirable piece of Hollywood memorabilia. Due to its association with the production of Red River and its solid provenance, the buckle is estimated to be worth between...
So to have one that's tied with the production, I would say at least in the $3,000 to $5,000 range at auction.
Wow.
As an estimate.
Wow.
Stunning sculpture, titled Golden Tree, holds a special place in the owner's heart, as it was purchased from renowned designer Harry Bertoia. Working at Knoll Associates, the owner had the opportunity to interact with Bertoia, and eventually acquired this sculpture for $250. Originally, the sculpture featured bright gold balls, but over time, they have dulled. Considering restoring it, the owner sought advice on its value and restoration feasibility. The appraiser provided a detailed history of Bertoia, highlighting his Italian origins, his collaboration with Florence Knoll and Charles Ames, and
he was very successful as a metal worker, and he actually headed the metalworking department at Cranbrook, and he made jewelry.
The sculpture, part of Bertoia's Bush series, is made of bronze and welded together, showcasing his unique artistic approach. Despite its potential labor-intensive restoration, estimated at a couple of $1,000s, the sculpture's current auction value is between
$30,000 and $50,000.
Oh, nice.
I think so.
Made in 1788 in Newcastle, this tankard was willed to the guest by his brother. Tankards were commonly used from the second half of the 16th century until the end of the 18th century.
The tankard is English.
Early tankards were made from bronze plates and wooden staves with copper alloy handles attached to rivets. This piece is more likely to be displayed on a mantelpiece than used for drinking. They are also still used in certain pubs around the world for that added beer-drinking authenticity, and pewter standards are still a novelty today and provide a more enjoyable way to drink for some people. Despite its age, this unique piece is in good condition, maintaining its appeal to collectors, and would easily fetch a sum of...
In the retail level, a sterling silver 18th century tankard would probably bring somewhere in the $2,000 to $2,500 price range. It's great. Thank you.
The guest showcased a wedding dress that belonged to her great-aunt's mother-in-law. The guest recalled having a picture of her grand-aunt wearing it to a party in the early 1930s. This piece is a style that was pretty common for wedding dresses of that period, especially in America. It is a three-piece garment with a skirt, an overskirt, with train to make it a little more formal, with a lovely bodice. It has a little lace-embroidered cotton collar and matching underserved that are sewn into the dress.
And you often find these undersleeves unattached and unassociated with the garments.
The dress is a wonderful design and still in good condition without being abraded. The current value of this piece at auction would be
a retail value of about $800 to $1,200 on it.
Great, that's awesome.
Box guitar was brought onto the show by a guest. The guest bought it at a garage sale 2 years ago. It is a mandolin with 8 strings. Although this piece might not look like much to the average person, today it's a testament to the ingenuity of the people from the early 1900s when this guitar was made. The cigar box guitar is, of course, made out of a cigar box, but the origin of an item like this cannot be precisely determined. This guitar was made by someone who desired a mandolin but had limited resources. A cigar box, a bunch of wood, and some wire. Another notable feature of this instrument is the painted decoration on the front of the box and its bridge crafted from a piece of paper. There also appears to have been some fretboard originally, but it has since undergone improvements and reinforcements. This guitar's history represents a time when people made the most of the materials they had available. One could only wonder how much this piece would be worth at auction.
$1,200. Oh, wow, Ken, that's amazing. That is amazing.
Showcased on the show today is a weird-looking figurine that has been in our guest family for about 3 to 4 generations.
Been in our family for 3 or 4 generations.
It was in their family home back in South London, and the guest's great-great-grandfather repainted it every year. This figurine is an exquisite piece of folk art, which is meant to represent a character called Paul Pry. Popularly known by most Englishmen in the early 19th century, a play was written in 1825 by a man named John Paul. The main attribute of this character revolves around the fact that the character would leave his umbrella somewhere and then go back to get it, which he did on purpose because the character is nosy and always wanted to find out what was going on. The character was very popular in the 1820s to 1840s, and many public houses were named after the character. This particular figurine wasn't carried on a ship due to some distinctive features, like the retractable umbrella on its side. It would most likely have belonged to a public house. This figurehead is probably carved from elm, a distinct type of plant found in North America, and it's about 200 years old. As we can see, this figurine has a lot of history and longevity on its side, which no double boosts its valuation up to
easily at auction worth between £3,000 and £5,000.
Wow.
Guest brought in an unusual item, which is a toilet seat she claims belonged to Queen Victoria. While not from Osborne House, the guest insisted it was from one of the Queen Victoria's cottages on the estate. Although it is a unique and frankly weird item, it is also intriguing. The toilet was still in use in the guest's own bathroom till this very day.
Just interjected obviously into this conversation. This is her alternative throne, obviously, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
However, as a conversation piece for dinner guests, a collector might be willing to pay.
I would be prepared to spend £500 on that toilet seat.
Oh my gosh, is it that valuable?
Our guest got the print from the Huron Elks Lodge during a remodel. The print is by Rosa Bronher, a famous 19th century artist. Original print is massive and exhibited in Paris since 1853. It's called the Horsefair and made Bonheur very famous. It was so popular that numerous copies were made in various sizes and processes.
It is probably one of the most common subjects for 19th century prints. Obviously, most of them are not this size.
This print is a large chromiolithograph printed from separate stones. Despite its rarity, there is some surface damage, and there's acid in the old wood backing. Restoration might be costly but worthwhile because the print holds significant value. Guest invested $500 in it, but now it's valued at an astonishing figure.
But I think really in a retail environment, even in this condition, you're probably talking about 8 to 9.
Talk about World War. The first thing that comes to most people's minds is the Second World War. But today's guest takes us back in time to the First World War.
My grandfather was a sergeant in the Royal Garrison Artillery, and he died in 1963 when I was 10. But I can remember when I was a small boy finding these 2 albums of photographs on his bookshelf.
Taken during the First World War, these secret photos depict the guest's grandfather during the First World War.
Inscribed brothers, Jim and I, outside the dugout. Which one's which?
Right, my grandfather is the figure on the left-hand side, that's Hugh Bourne, and then his brother Jim on the right.
In the picture is also a trench where the guest's grandfather stands, and this immediately depicts a piece of history to be remembered by many. Perhaps what's surprising about these pictures is that during the time of war, they weren't encouraged as it was believed they would spark controversy. Since this is one of the very few pictures showing the First World War, it's clearly a piece of history and is valued at.
There are no others like this, and I think they're going to be worth somewhere in the region of £400 to £500.
Well, and the monetary value, of course, is of no consequence. And
features a custom-made weather vane in his house.
I don't know if it's a one-off, if somebody made it specifically for this house, or I don't know anything about it.
A weather vane is an instrument used to tell the direction of the wind. As we can see, the weather vane is in a mermaid form with a shell which the mermaid holds. The weather vane is beautifully crafted and signifies quality, especially when you look at the direction signs.
This one is particularly beautifully made. If you look at the directionals, I mean, that's always a nice sign for the quality of a weather vane.
These direction signs are known to indicate the accuracy and quality of weather vanes. Also featured here is a peacock in the lawn. Although still battered, the peacock communicates elegance. In fact, in biblical history, the peacock is known as a symbol of resurrection. An item with such scientific, historical importance was estimated to auction for
maybe an auction estimate of $10,000 to $15,000.
Okay, that's pretty good.
And I think it would do better than that.
Yeah, all right.
It's a really pretty. I love the tail, the way it drapes down.
You just don't know it's going to run off again. You know, it's like Runaway Bride. It's one of those things that shows up and it disappears for decades and it comes back.
This championship jacket belonged to Johnny Unitas, a football icon known for his confidence and sense of humor.
Probably the most important person in pro football history, or one of them, certainly.
The jacket commemorates the Baltimore Colts' victory in the 1958 championship game against the New York Giants, a historic moment in football history. Featuring a patch that reads, Early World Champions 1958, and Unitas' name etched into the fabric, the jacket is a rare and desirable piece from football's golden era. The jacket's excellent condition and the presence of Unitas' name on both a patch and a manufacturer's tag add to its desirability and value. This jacket represents a significant piece of sports memorabilia, especially for fans from the Baltimore Colts and football history in general. This championship jacket is valued at an estimated
at $40,000 to $60,000 for auction.
And it's going to stay in the Fed.
Guest brought in a collection of rock and roll memorabilia that served as a treasure trove of memories from his unique career path. Having worked in security, he had the privilege of providing backstage access and ensuring the safety of legendary musicians like the Monkees, the Osmonds, Led Zeppelin, the Rolling Stones, and Bob Dylan. One prized possession was a signed Andy Warhol print of Mick Jagger. It is dedicated to the guest and was given to him at a concert in Japan.
Thanks for all your help, especially at the lighting board.
The collection's crown jewels were a set of 4 postcards. These seemingly ordinary postcards featured portraits of Mick Jagger by Andy Warhol, the famed pop artist. However, what elevated them to extraordinary status was the fact that they were signed by both Warhol and Jagger. This unique combination of artistic and musical legends transformed these postcards into highly valuable pieces of music memorabilia. Their estimated worth is
region of sort of £3,500 to £5,000.
Taking the entire collection into account, the estimated value at auction is
£15,000 and £20,000.
Praise the Lord.
Guest received a mysterious green box from his father-in-law's shed. Initially believed to be a toolbox, it turned out to be a much more intriguing discovery, a World War II radio set. This particular radio, a Mark III B2 or B2, played a crucial role in covert operations undertaken by the Special Operations Executive, SOE. Established by Winston Churchill in 1940, the SOE aimed to disrupt Nazi-occupied territories through sabotage and intelligence gathering. Effective communication was paramount for these missions, and the B2 radio, the brainchild of Captain Brown of SOE Section 9, was designed to address that need. The B2's unique selling point was its versatility. It could be powered by various sources, including mains electricity, batteries, car generators, or even a bicycle dynamo. This adaptability made it ideal for clandestine operations where access to conventional power supplies might be limited. The presenter even showed a photograph depicting a scenario where the radio was connected to a bicycle for power generation. The box also contained a clue to its past owner, Sergeant F.L. Church of the Royal Signals. An additional piece of information emerged. The call sign, G3CUW, is associated with amateur radio communications. The historical significance of the B2 radio and the daring SOE missions it potentially facilitated places its value at
somewhere between £10,000 and £15,000.
Guest acquired this carved panel from a suburb of New Orleans, finding it online and being impressed by its detailed carving. Originally used as a side door to a garage, the panel was too heavy for the previous owner to use regularly with children and a dog. Upon examination, the appraiser noted the panel's monumental size and construction from mahogany.
And it's made in sections and pieced together. And by piecing it together, it would actually give it more strength.
Stylistic elements, such as the stylized eagle and the inclusion of "In God We Trust," suggest a creation date possibly in the 1920s or 1930s, rather than the 19th century. Despite having several layers of paint, the panel's monochromatic tone adds to its charm as a decorative piece of folk art. The appraiser suggests removing the handle for better display.
But I think it would look amazing if you could mount it on a wall of a home.
This panel is given a retail valuation of
$4,000 to $6,000 on this.
Wow. I wasn't going to say that, but I'm impressed. I am impressed.
The guests discovered this piece while cleaning their in-laws' house. Appraiser identifies it as a necklace made by the famous costume jewelry manufacturer Hobie.
This piece was made in the late 30s into the 1940s.
Despite being unsigned, the style of metalwork and stone setting, and the presence of distinctive little flowers, are characteristic of Hobie's work. The necklace, made of white metal with a gold plating, is a rare find, as the appraiser has only seen one other Hobie necklace. Its estimated value at retail is between
$1,000 and $1,200.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Guest purchased a Native American blanket, possibly a chief's blanket, at a thrift store. Appraiser identifies it as a third phase chief's blanket, distinguished by its stepped triangles in the corners and center, indicative of a weaving style from western New Mexico or eastern Arizona, likely Navajo.
This blanket was probably woven in the 1870s.
Blankets' colors are derived from natural sources, with indigo for blue, natural white, and possibly cochineal for red, a dye extracted from cochineal beetles found on prickly pear cacti. The green may be from a plant called rabbit brush. This blanket appears to have undergone some alterations with added fringe and a cut and sewn section. Despite its condition, the blanket's value at auction is estimated to be between
$16,000 and $18,000.
Wow. Great.
This family heirloom is a war club called a pakapaki, reportedly given to her great-grandmother around 1795 by her great-uncle,
who apparently was a sailor with Captain Cook.
The pakapaki is from Tonga and is made of casuarina wood, known for its density and durability, making it a formidable weapon in war. Designed on the club is a deliberate pattern, possibly indicating the owner's pride and status.
Personal, almost like a tattoo.
I see.
Then he would probably, wherever he went, he would hold it as a badge of office to show how proud he was and what a wonderful weapon he had.
Yeah.
While the association with Captain Cook is intriguing, it cannot be conclusively proven, which would impact the club's value. The appraiser estimates the club value to be conservatively between
I think a retail value, very conservatively, would be between $8,000 and $10,000.
Whoa.
If its connection to Captain Cook could be verified, its value could increase significantly to over
And you would be looking at a figure probably in excess of $100,000, maybe $150,000.
Wow.
But it's a wonderful example. It's fabulous. I'm thrilled you brought it in.
Okay, thank you.
Guest inherited this painting from their grandmother, who reportedly received it directly from the artist Pauline Palmer. Pauline Palmer, a well-known Chicago artist in the 1920s and 1930s, was encouraged by her husband, Dr. Albert Palmer, to continue painting despite societal norms. The painting depicts Provincetown, Massachusetts, where the Palmers spent many summers. Pauline Palmer's Provincetown landscapes are highly sought after. Guest's mother had the painting in her possession until she passed away, and it has now been passed down to the guest. The painting's surface has some grime, likely from cleaning efforts with a potato by the guest's mother.
Interestingly enough, using a potato to clean frescoes was fairly common.
Really?
More common was actually white bread. And bread works beautifully. Potato leaves grime on the surface.
The appraiser suggests a professional cleaning, which could increase its value to between
I would expect it to be more like $15,000 to $20,000.
Very nice. We'll keep it in the family.
Absolutely. I think you should.
Though in its current state, it could still fetch
I would expect it to fetch between $8,000 and $12,000, conservatively.
The guest inherited this item from their grandmother's jewelry box in 1988 and had been curious about its function and origins ever since. The item is revealed to be a jabot, used to secure large shawls worn by women in the early 20th century. It features jadeite stones carved with clouds and foliate designs. These jadeite pieces were likely repurposed from a court necklace.
It's a different kind of composition from jade. And the type of carving that's in the stone is of clouds. and some foliate devices. The carving and the size of these indicates that this was from China.
The item also includes rubies, old mine diamonds, and is set in platinum, suggesting high-quality craftsmanship. Despite lacking a signature, the design and style of the jobot suggests that it was made in France by a skilled craftsman. The combination of Asian materials with Western craftsmanship was popular in the early 20th century, adding to the item's historical and aesthetic value. The appraiser estimates the jabot's value at least
This would be at least $10,000.
$10,000?
$10,000.
Wow.
Heirloom has been in their family for generations, originating from their maternal grandfather's side. The Goodwin commode stands as a testament to the artistry and functionality of 18th or 19th century design. The piece is clearly marked Goodwin & Company, both inside the drawer and on the back, underscoring its heritage and provenance. Goodwin & Company, a renowned furniture dealer, flourished in San Francisco from the 1850s until about 1879, leaving a lasting legacy in the local furniture industry. James Porter Goodwin, an Irish immigrant, founded the eponymous company, becoming a leading figure in furniture. It has this pitcher and wash bowl at the top. Upon removing the top, they discovered a metal piece that had been nailed down,
which we undid, and I've got the wound to prove it.
They stumbled upon an advertisement crafted by Tuchfarber in Cincinnati. This particular piece promotes shoes and is rendered as a lithograph on tin. Tin lithography, dating from around 1880 to 1890, was an early form of the lithographic process. The appraiser values this masterpiece
$2,000 to $3,000 in this condition.
Oh, wow.
The guest received this violin as a gift from their parents when she was 13 years old. The violin was made by Robert Glier, a German-born violin maker who had a violin shop in Cincinnati. It was crafted in 1914 and is labeled as a No. 1, indicating that it was of the highest quality in Glier's production. Robert Glier was strongly promoted by the Rudolf Wurlitzer Company of Cincinnati. The Glier family has a long history of violin making, dating back to 1632. Violin's top-quality wood and exceptional tone make it a significant piece of American violin-making history. In terms of value, this violin is estimated to be worth
I think that we're looking at a violin that's $10,000 to $12,000 in the retail world and represents an important part of American history.
Wow, that's amazing.
Guess family heirloom included a beautiful piece of jewelry that had been passed down through generations. The appraiser identified the first item as a Georgian amethyst and gold necklace.
Tell us a little bit about this beautiful necklace that's here.
Made in England around 1714, the fabulous piece exhibited intricate canottiere work and faceted Siberian amethysts. To their surprise, the necklace's large drop pendant could be removed to become a pin. Additionally, the appraiser also observed lead solder repairs on the piece that could be easily reversed. Regarding the earrings, which were also from the Georgian period, they had some modifications to the back screws. Considering the minor flaws, the potential value the collection could fetch would be
It would be in the neighborhood of $8,000 to $12,000.
Lovely.
That includes a pin also.
It does.
What we have here is a cultural artifact from Eskimo, a remarkable object made out of spruce that was purchased by the guest on a wedding trip.
I think it's definitely Eskimo, and it's a remarkable object. First of all, it's made out of spruce.
Quite extraordinary, this piece is an effigy bowl made of fairly soft wood and has a head which probably represents the spirit of the bowl, according to the belief of the Eskimos. Even though the Eskimos don't really do decorative art, this piece features quite a distinctive combination. There is a finger puppet figurine, which is a strange notion, and the back is hollowed out, which makes it look more like a mask in miniature. A piece like this with such cultural heritage and very nice grooved carvings, plus pigment traces, is surely worth a fortune and is highly valued at
I will put a price of, say, between $18,000 and $20,000.
Oh my goodness.
serendipitous rescue of a painting from the trash turned out to be a stroke of good fortune. The abandoned artwork, left behind by a theater production, was revealed to be the creation of Giorgio Prestopino, an artist with a fascinating backstory. Prestopino's artistic path began at a crossroads in his youth. At the age of 14, he faced a decision between a life of crime and a life pursuing art. Fortunately, he chose the latter and enrolled at the prestigious National Academy of Design. Prestopino's artistic journey spanned many years, resulting in a diverse body of work that showcased a significant evolution in style. His early works differed greatly from his later creations, with the human figure serving as the sole unifying element throughout his artistic career. The rescued painting, titled Morning Nude No. 1, was an oil-on-canvas work estimated to date back to the late 1950s or early 1960s. The subject matter is a reinterpretation of a classic theme, a woman depicted at her dressing table. This artistic interpretation, along with Prestopino's established career, contributed to the surprisingly high appraisal value of,
conservatively at auction, you're probably looking at about $6,000 to $8,000.
Whoa. That was well more than I would have ever expected.
The guest brought in a beautiful necklace, a family heirloom passed down from her grandmother. While the grandmother considered it costume jewelry, it is actually a valuable piece from the late 19th century. The necklace, crafted in 14-karat gold, featured a vibrant array of gemstones, green, pink, and yellow tourmalines, along with peridot stones. These colorful gems were separated by old mine-cut diamonds, a style characteristic of the era. An inscription on the necklace revealed the maker's mark, Jacques and Marcus, an iteration of the Marcus & Company jewelers. This company was founded by a former Tiffany employee, and their work held considerable value. The guest mentioned that someone previously offered to buy the necklace only for the weight of the gold.
This time, we delve into the world of firefighting memorabilia, as seen through a museum's collection of firefighter collectibles. Fire marks, small plaques displayed by buildings in the 18th and 19th centuries, served as a sign of fire insurance. Today, they are prized by collectors, with originals far outvaluing their replica counterparts. Distinguishing between the two can be tricky. An appraiser would look for details like the quality of the casting, crispness of lettering, and signs of wear and tear. The original is from around 1825 and can be worth a staggering,
would be around $2,500 at auction.
compared to a replica worth.
At auction, it would be about $150.
Next is the fire trumpets, communication tools used by fire chiefs in the 19th century. These weren't your typical fanfare trumpets. Instead, they functioned as powerful megaphones to direct firefighters amidst the chaos of a blaze. Two types of fire trumpets exist: duty trumpets for everyday use and presentation trumpets reserved for parades or special occasions. Presentation trumpets are more visually striking, often crafted from silver plate and adorned with intricate engravings that depict firefighting equipment. At auction, the duty trumpet would fetch,
At auction, I would say probably about $150.
while the presentation trumpet would go for.
Typically, you would expect to pay about $800 to $1,000.
The last item here is a fire helmet, another widely collected fire department relic. This particular helmet exemplifies a presentation helmet, boasting a majestic high eagle holder, a decorative painted shield, and expertly tooled leather. Such a piece, a symbol of pride and craftsmanship, could fetch a price of.
A comparable one of these at auction would probably bring around $1,500 to $1,800.
Well, this has been so much fun looking at all these firefighting collectibles. Thanks for sharing them.
Thank you.
The guests brought in a unique collection of memorabilia that sheds light on a lesser-known chapter of American political history, Richard Nixon's time in Florida. What we have here is a heartfelt letter from Nixon to the guest's father, thanking him for his generous remarks. The letter shows a side of Nixon not often seen by the public. This personal touch, along with the historical context, elevates the value of the letter.
At auction, $1,200 to $1,800.
Another interesting item is this menu, autographed by Nixon for the guest's father at Don Julio's, a Cuban restaurant Nixon liked. While Nixon memorabilia on its own isn't typically very valuable, the personalized inscription on the menu, referencing their shared love for Cuban cuisine, makes this piece valuable. The estimated auction value is
about $500.
The final item is a program from a Democratic fundraiser. This program holds a special significance as it features the signatures of both John F. Kennedy and George Smathers. While individual signatures from these two political figures hold value, it's the combination on the program that makes it truly special. The program's value at auction is
Would be about $5,000 to $7,000. thank you for illuminating the Florida White House for us
Thank you
in
very
this
much.
small vignette.
Thank you. That's amazing. I'm totally flabbergasted.